When it comes to army painting, I think Thousand Suns unanimously agreed upon that it is one of the worst experiences that you could undertake as a painter. And after doing it, I would have to agree. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Richard here from Crash Course Hobbies. And today we're talking about Thousand Suns. Now, this is one of the projects that I focused on while I was my time away from YouTube. And over the course of those 2 years, kind of working on it off and on, I think I found the most clean, easy, simple way to paint a Thousand Sun army. So this is going to be kind of a two-parter. I'm going to show you guys my method for how to paint them if you want to follow along or just kind of see the way that I do it, but also going to show off some of the stuff I painted while I was away from my Thousand Sun army. So with that, let's check it out. Now, for me personally, I love Thousand Suns. The Egyptian aesthetic is right up my alley. I have a soft spot for bird-like creatures for whatever reason, and when it comes to gameplay, I love the psychic phase aspect of Warhammer. There's just one problem. It's a pain in the butt to paint. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the hobby, I think those reasons are probably pretty obvious, but just for the sake of not leaving anybody out here, let's get into what makes these guys such a chore to paint. First, Games Workshop made sure to make Chaos Space Marines the antithesis of their beloved clunker children. And while traditional Space Marine models are very easy to get into and paint just due to their simple shapes and largely being one color, they're very easy to paint up with stuff like contrast paints or very simple for beginners to hone their brush skills because they don't have a lot of details. Chaos Space Marines are notorious for having tons of trim, lining all their guns, their armor, and there's literally trim on the trim. It's like the Pimp My Ride of the Warhammer universe, where they heard you like trim, so they put your trim on your trim so you can trim while you trim. And to make matters worse, inside of that trim are little details like stripes and eyeballs and other annoyingly complex shapes. So after drooling over these boxes at the store and looking at them online for a while, I figured, why not give it a go? I feel like I'm ready. And I researched different methods online. A lot of people swear by doing the airbrush or just base coating everything in the gold. Some people say base coating it all in the teal. So after spending countless hours painting a few squads with each different type of method, I feel like I can confidently say that both of the methods kind of suck. They're not that enjoyable, they're tedious, it's just kind of what it is. But I think I found a way to make it at least a little bit less painful, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Painting these Thousand Suns is a pretty simple recipe. Like I mentioned, I've tried all the base coating it all gold and all turquoise methods, but I think just starting over a black primer is the way to go for this method at least. Step 1 is to grab a medium to large dry brush in your trim color of choice. I'm using Pro Acryl's light bronze, which is my favorite metallic paint. I think it just gives these guys a little bit more of an ancient look, and dry brushing really helps to achieve that battle-worn effect. I'm not trying to be super clean or neat with this step, but just make sure you hit all the areas of the model. Pro Acryl's a pretty wet paint overall, so it's not really my favorite for dry brushing in a lot of cases, but I'm not really concerned with the traditional just trying to hit the very raised edges of the model here. I left this guy probably like 50% covered in the areas that I hit. I like the look of a good amount of the black showing through, but if you want them to look a little bit more parade ready, you could absolutely do another coat or two. I recommend using a relatively sharp brush from here on out, as it does make hitting inside the panels a little bit easier. And next we're going to move on to the turquoise. I use dark turquoise from Rogue Hobbies signature set. It's perfect for Thousand Suns, but before this came out, I would use their blue and light jade mix to give you a very similar shade. So if you don't have that one and you've got those, you can do that. But really, whatever colors you want to use for the main armor color here, they're your toys, man. Paint them how you want. One thing I like to do is mix in a tiny amount of gloss varnish with the dark turquoise to make it just a little bit more satin. I find that some of the Pro Acryl paints, at least for me, are a little bit too matte for my taste, and it's kind of difficult to get them to look super smooth. And so by adding a little bit of varnish to it, makes it a bit more satin, and at least on this particular color, I feel like I get it smoother that way. But you can definitely skip this step though, because we are going to varnish it before we wash anyways. If you hit any of the raised trim with your turquoise, in most cases you can just wipe it away with your thumb or a wet clean brush, and because they're raised, it's very easy to only hit that part and fix the mistake. Next, I'm going to grab some black and just quickly hit the joints in the armor and any little tubies on the backpack. I prefer Pro Acryl satin black, but that's just because I like how it behaves. But a black contrast paint is also a great option too, because leaving a little bit of the metallic coming through on those raised surfaces can actually make for a pretty cool effect in these areas. Now for the yellow details, I am going to switch to a very sharp sable brush here just to minimize getting the paint anywhere I don't want it. And one of my favorite paints for painting yellow is the yellow ochre from Pro Acryl because it has amazing coverage for a yellow. Because we're going to be using an enamel wash later, you don't necessarily have to worry about not getting the yellow in the recesses, as it's going to cover it pretty well. But I still think this is a decent exercise in brush control, so just try to be neat. Now, because I'm planning on using an enamel wash instead of a traditional acrylic wash, it is important to highlight the model before the wash as opposed to after like you would with a normal acrylic. I like to mix ivory with my dark turquoise and pale yellow into the yellow ochre. Again, this is a rank and file guy, so I'm not really going to end up highlighting more than like 40% of him. I'm just going to pick out the top half of the model with my first highlight and then do a final brighter highlight on the top 25% or so. A fun fact about me is that I'm basically allergic to using pre-established color schemes. I just really like the idea of making my army my own, and I enjoy the process of creating a look and feel of my next army. That said, my Thousand Suns are the closest to a traditional color scheme as I've ever gone before. I just used a light bronze instead of gold and purple instead of burgundy on their robes. But for this, I like to use Pro Acryl's purple and the dark burgundy wizard's butt, but you can use whatever you want to darken the purple there. For character models, I typically use Vallejo or Army Painter Fanatic to wet blend and then glaze them up to a really smooth transition. And I just feel like it's a little bit challenging to glaze really well with Pro Acryl just because of how pigment dense it is. But here I'm just going to do a quick job of making the recessed areas a little bit darker and then putting a slight volumetric highlight on the rest. Whenever I'm painting some kind of lighter color, I always do a quick base coat of Pro Acryl's light neutral gray. It's just a perfect one coat paint to get it ready for a lighter color like this pink I'm using, which has pretty poor coverage just as a general rule for the color. And I'm going to use that on the gems. I'm using the dark hot pink, and I explained the gem painting method a little bit more fully in the full length paint along video that I'm going to be releasing after this one. So if you want to watch a full unedited version of the tutorial, I'll have that for you guys here shortly. Once the colors are all down where I want them, I just want to do a quick satin varnish, and that's really an important step for any kind of enamel or oil wash. I know people a lot of times don't necessarily think you need to do it, but at least until you get a feel for it, I feel like just a quick 50-50 mix of satin varnish and water is going to allow that enamel or oil wash to spread a little bit more smoothly, and then you don't have to worry about the sponge stripping off some of your paint if you go a little too heavy-handed. This is where the magic happens. It's the most satisfying step where it all comes together. I take some Villainy Ink Decrepit Filth with just like a really dark brown, almost black wash it over the entire model and wait about 30 minutes. If you have any pooling or anything like that, you can use your brush to soak up some of that, but you really don't necessarily have to be too careful because after that, we're going to take a sponge with some mineral spirits and just remove the paint off of the raised areas in the center of the panels, and we'll leave the wash in all of the joints, panel lines, cracks and crevices. And this method saves so much time when army painting, because especially when we're dealing with an insane amount of trim and details on these guys, it is a godsend. I'm drawn to Thousand Suns because they're a combination of a lot of my favorite concepts. Ever since I was a kid, I've loved watching movies like Stargate and The Mummy. Pretty much anything with an Egyptian theme is my jam, which is probably why I like Necrons too. Aside from just enjoying the look, I feel like this kind of aesthetic really lends itself to a lot of exciting possibilities when painting. I also dig the bird creature aesthetic. It's kind of weird, but I just love painting a good set of wings. But my absolute favorite thing, and why I recognize Tzeentch as my chaos god of choice, is the aspect of change. The idea that at any point anything in this army can be transformed into something different makes for the ultimate freedom for a painter. The fantastical nature of Tzeentch lends itself to bright and vibrant colors, and several of them, mixed with the hybrid creatures and endless fun. It's just a recipe for awesome things. The kit bashing opportunities are endless as well, like this rhino that I'm working on that's half bird monster. There's just a lot of fun things you can do, and you can kit bash with the AOS Tzeentch kits too. Because of all these reasons, I spent quite a lot of time working on some of these models, particularly the characters, which are pretty unique and fun to paint. You can see how the style I wanted to go with on some of them got refined over time as I figured out my recipes and what I like and didn't like. I went back and forth a few times on the color of their magic energy effects, but eventually settled on a classic ethereal white-greenish look. I slap chopped my Zangors because I hate them. I might go back and punch them up later, or just punch them. We'll see. Magnus the Red himself was one that I spent a lot of time on.
I probably listened to an entire Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook while painting him. The wings especially took a ton of time, but I'm really happy with how they turned out. I just need to convince myself that it's worth painting the back of them one day. He's still got a lot of work left to be done. I think the skin needs to be refined and the armor's kind of boring. I focused a lot of my attention on him on the wings and his weapon. I really wanted to get the effects right, and I also really like his little magic orb with the arcane fire stuff, so I freehanded an eyeball on it, hit it with some gloss varnish to give it that wet look, and it's like his weird little Eye of Sauron right on his weapon. My Demon Prince was the first time I decided to try to replicate the Pro Acryl light bronze color in non-metallic metal, and I quickly learned that this is an incredibly difficult color to sell that effect. My first attempt, I think, fell really flat. There's a few areas on this guy that I'm happy with, but overall I think it needs a lot more work to push the highlights and define the effect more. I spent some time trying to figure it out on my Bringer of Change, and I think I was able to get closer to the look that I was going for. Unfortunately, this guy is massive and has tons of complicated shapes, which was a challenge for somebody who's still relatively inexperienced with non-metallic metal painting. It ended up being a good lesson in how to paint non-metallic metal, but it was also a pretty painful one. I also used this guy to work on wet blending on the skin, and I'm really happy overall with what I was able to achieve. I used some P3 paints and wet blended the main areas of the skin before coming in with a 0.25 airbrush and lightly adding in some shadows and highlights, and then went in with a brush and just punched it up a little bit more. I'm trying to get braver about really pushing up my highlights. It's one thing to have them look really good under a bright painting light, but usually when I take them away, they look a little bit more flat under normal lighting. So I really need to get comfortable with pushing it beyond what I'm comfortable with seeing it under a bright light, and then it'll look nice under normal lighting. Several of these guys are still unbased because I really wanted to find a style that I liked and one that would contrast really well with the armor to make them pop on the table. I ended up mixing up my own texture paste from sand, drywall putty, paint, and PVA glue. This gives me a really easy place to start from, and the flowing pastiness of this mix allows me to create more flowing looking sand dunes, opposed to a more wavy, muddy texture that I find a lot of prepackaged texture paints give you. I went pretty extra on the Bringer of Change because I left an open spot in the middle of it, which I added some dark blue paint and then added a UV resin on top. I really wanted this to kind of look like an oasis, so I painted some darker algae around the ring of the water, and then added some lily pads by doing a stippling of bright green on top of the resin. I added some pigments and then finished it off with a couple of plants. This is definitely one of my favorite bases so far, and I'm looking forward to playing with the army in this kind of style of basing for the rest of it.
So that's my take on how to paint Thousand Suns quickly and easily. I know you're going to have to paint a bunch of rubrics, so you're going to be doing this many times. You're going to have to paint a bunch of Terminators and like a billion Zangors. So with that in mind, I definitely recommend using this enamel and dry brush method to get that part done. But on your characters, like your Magnus, like your Bringer of Change, your other cool birdie bros and sorcerers and things like that, definitely recommend kind of really leaning into those and going with the, bright and vibrant and not using something like an enamel wash just to really make them shine. That said, if you want to just get them done and get them on the table, you can absolutely use this same method on all of your characters, on your whole army, and get it done. Anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It's really nice to be back in front of the camera again. So if you enjoyed this one, please let me know in the comments and make sure you're subscribed if you're not already, just to kind of help give me that extra boost of motivation after being gone for about 2 years. It really does mean a lot just to see even a handful of y'all commenting and saying you're excited to see me back, because honestly, I didn't think anybody would even care. So it's pretty cool to see that. Anyways, thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.
And we'll do another video.
That's right. We're going to do another video. Also, I want to bring in a special guest for today's video.
Me. If you've seen in the last video, I was in the last video, and yeah. Let's get back to the painting desk.
Let's get back to the painting desk.